Two children vanished, sparking relentless searches and lingering questions. A case to unravel by a stepdad that keeps changing his story and a mom that has disappeared. Is this a case of duper's delight or a concerned parent?
Tell me you don't do math without telling me you don't do math. And I'm watching the body language of this guy, and it's like every time he's very sus, and he knows it. All right. Well, okay, it's time to break down and get some reading glasses, because when I looked, I thought from George Foreman is Ireland. Get those glasses from Scotland. So funny.
Everyone deployed in that first
Scotland,
initial search. That was a lot. That was an 8-kilometer radius outwards.
Right?
And it's just...
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm wondering. Most as an ordinary days when the kids get up and self-parent while they're in the bedroom with their substances. Shake my head. Right? Why not tell us what your ordinary day is or was?
The amount of money and people's time.
Thank you, Barbie G.
Sustained during that.
Thank you.
It's just, people should have just opened their eyes to see that we need to look elsewhere. I pointed many fingers, and I think that's where the people should look.
And many times suspects do that. They put themselves into a situation so they can learn from law enforcement. Like he said, he talked to law enforcement 3 times a week. All right. They insert themselves so they can find out what happened, and then they point their fingers away. Not here.
Not here. Not in the woods. If fingers have been pointed, let's start taking a look. It's just heartbreaking to know that 5 months have passed, and
now 6, guys. 6 months yesterday.
This should be a chance for kids to be interacting and doing kid things, enjoying their lives as kids. You know, like, right? It's not just...
What's up, Nikki?
All the kids that miss them from school and community, and, you know, at this point, the whole country.
Now he knows everybody's watching him at this point. He said it earlier. People watching his hand movements, his eye rolls, whatever he does, body language, everybody's looking. He knows.
That, you know they're missing. It's just like, I have kids too that know that they're missing too. And like,
you have kids that's heartbreaking that know they're missing?
Like, Meadow doesn't understand, but one day she will.
Thank you, Cheryl.
And she knows that Dad spoke up for Jack and Lily.
When Daniel went on that tangent about kids going back to school, I thought he would.
Did they arrest Cheryl McDonald? Did they arrest Ashley Buzzard? Did they hold her, or did they just get a search warrant to search the house? And then let me know. I'll check after this, but I'm curious because I've been following that case. I've done probably 4 or 5 episodes. That and the Mimi case. Jacqueline, my goodness. Rosie says, choo, choo. And thank you, Barbie G. All right, let's keep going. They escorted her out of the house and they're searching. Yes, I wish they would find something to hold her.
Was talking about Lily and Jack, but no, his sympathy was for the other students in their class who would feel sad that they were missing. And that's not the only time he put others over his own children in this clip. And by the way, I hope you noticed that he didn't refer to his other biological daughters as his other daughters. He just called them his daughters. So what does he consider Lily? Anyway, when he was talking about the search, he was lamenting all the money and man hours being wasted and all the injuries the searchers were getting. Actual parents of missing children couldn't care less about the people searching for their kids as long as they're doing it.
Right? They don't say things like, remember Jen Soto was saying, oh, I wanted to get the news station involved. So, you know, because missing kids, to call for missing kids. No, it wasn't. There were no missing kids. It was Madeline Soto, your only daughter that's missing. Tamra, member for 14 months. Welcome and thank you.
6 months have passed since the children vanished without a trace. Lily was just 6 years old, full of curiosity and confidence beyond her age, and Jack was weeks away from turning 5, a cheerful, giggling boy who followed his sister everywhere. Their disappearance has drawn the attention of the nation, yet the questions surrounding that day remain painfully unanswered. The children were last seen near their rural home, surrounded by thick woodland and creeks, the kind of place where neighbors know one another and danger feels distant. But on that quiet day, that sense of safety shattered. Investigators have found themselves facing an increasingly tangled web of accounts from within the family itself. The stepfather statements, in particular, have drawn attention for their inconsistencies. In some interviews, he described the children playing outside when they vanished. In others, He claimed they were napping indoors before he realized they were gone. Detectives reportedly noted his shifting timelines, vague explanations, and anxious body language during questioning. Those who watched him in interviews have quietly said something about his manner just doesn't sit right. His account has changed so often that it's left the community questioning how such confusion could exist in a moment that should be unforgettable. Meanwhile, the children's mother, Malia Brooks Murray, vanished from the public eye the very same day her kids disappeared. For months, her absence has raised unsettling speculation. Family members say she left the scene unexpectedly and never returned to participate in searches or make public appeals. The lack of visibility from a grieving mother has left a vacuum filled by rumor and resentment. Some relatives believe she is hiding to avoid scrutiny. Others think she's overwhelmed by guilt or trauma. Whatever the truth, her silence has deepened the mystery and divided the families involved. Despite the family turmoil, search efforts in the first few weeks were massive. Hundreds of volunteers joined RCMP officers to comb through forests, fields, and waterways. Drones, canine units, and ground teams moved through thick brush and steep hills, covering miles each day. The terrain around Lansdowne Station is rugged and unforgiving. Dense woods that swallow sound and light, muddy riverbanks that shift underfoot, and abandoned outbuildings that could easily conceal evidence. By early May, search leaders admitted they had scoured nearly every accessible area, yet not a single credible clue emerged. As frustration builds, volunteers are refusing to give up. A new community search is planned for November 15th, focusing specifically on nearby waterways. This time, organizers are working under what's known as the misadventure theory, the belief that the children might have wandered off and accidentally fallen into one of the creeks or ponds close to home. They're coordinating with trained divers and drone operators to target areas that were difficult to access earlier in the year. Searchers say this may be their final chance before the first snow arrives and covers potential evidence for months. Among those pushing hardest for renewed efforts is the children's paternal grandmother, Belinda Gray. From the very beginning, she has been one of the most vocal family members, contacting volunteer groups, media outlets, and even private investigators. Gray has publicly criticized the children's living conditions before they vanished, calling them unstable and unsafe. She's questioned why certain areas around the property were not searched immediately and has pleaded with authorities to re-examine specific locations based on her own observations. Her persistence has made her both a voice of reason and a lightning rod for tension among family members. Public emotion reached another peak during Jack's 5th birthday, which passed just weeks ago. Instead of a party filled with laughter, cake, and presents, the day was marked with a candlelight vigil. Dozens of people gathered, holding balloons and photographs, whispering prayers for the two children still missing. Some of the attendees expressed frustration that they were standing in candlelight instead of celebrating. "We should be cutting cake, not lighting candles," one woman said tearfully. Moments like these keep the case in the public eye and remind everyone of the human cost behind the headlines. Criticism of the investigation has also grown louder in recent months. Many residents question why the RCMP did not issue an Amber Alert immediately, despite early signs of danger. Others claim authorities moved too slowly in securing electronic evidence, interviewing key witnesses, or issuing search warrants. These frustrations have given rise to widespread speculation online, where theories range from foul play to family cover-ups. Yet law enforcement officials have remained cautious, stressing that evidence must be gathered carefully and methodically to avoid jeopardizing any future prosecution. Still, the perception among the public is one of stagnation. With no confirmed sightings, no arrests, and no clear explanation, people are losing patience. Relatives have accused both parents of downplaying the children's disappearance, pointing out the lack of public appeals, the absence from vigils, and a noticeable unwillingness to engage with media. For many, this detachment feels unnatural and deeply suspicious. Winter's approach now adds another layer of urgency. The bitter cold and heavy snow typical of Nova Scotia winters will soon make searches nearly impossible. Every creek will freeze, and every trail will be hidden under ice. Those organizing the November search describe it as a last-ditch effort before nature buries what could be vital evidence. They're pleading for anyone who might have seen or heard something on that early May day to come forward before it's too late. The case of Lily and Jack Sullivan has become more than a missing persons investigation. It's a mirror reflecting the heartbreak and division within a community. It's a story of confusion, silence, and unwavering hope. As tensions rise and timelines grow longer, one truth remains. These two children deserve to be found, and their story deserves an ending.